Are we going here? Can you guys see me all right? Am I live?
I think you are.
You guys don't even understand. It looks like I'm live.
Yeah, you are nice.
Someone let me know. That looks like I'm live here. Okay, let me finish my little thing here. Man sakes alive, guys! Please let me know if you're seeing me okay. I need I'm on. Guys, as soon as I jump off of here, I'm going to be putting out a video about this. So apparently, and I was able to circumvent this rule, but apparently YouTube is no longer allowing people to live stream with their mobile device if they have not yet met the YouTube Partner Program requirements, which means you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in order to live stream with your phone. I don't know what to say about that, guys. What are your thoughts on that? How many of you guys use your cell phones to live stream? That's a trip, man. I don't even know what to say about that. Like I said, this is going to be a hot button topic. I can't confirm that that's actually what happened, but man, that is the message that I have been getting for the last 20 minutes. I was able to circumvent that for you guys who are going to be affected by this. So you know what I did to circumvent that is I downloaded real quick Streamlabs OBS. It's an app you can get for your phone. It's a great app. It's one that I had intended on using anyway. I just hadn't learned it yet because it gives you the opportunity to set some stuff up and do some cool stuff, more so than what the YouTube app allows you to do. So that apparently was able to circumvent the YouTube rule on having 1,000 subscribers. But according to what the message that I got, you have to be a partner on YouTube in order to just straight up stream off of your phone. Man, I think you're gonna be seeing the old YouTube's going a little bit wild on that one in the next couple of days. You use your laptop with an external camera. I mean, you know me. I've said it a few times. I do this entire channel off of a single cell phone. So anytime they try to cut me out of something, it's a little annoying. I don't know why. What does that help? How does that help anybody? I know there's a lot of live streams, and I know YouTube is cracking down on a lot of that stuff, but how does cutting out the mobile creators under 1,000 subscribers, how does that fix any problems? I don't know. Yeah, Fish and Stripes, I hear you, man. I don't. Why are they cutting out the mobile guys? And why is it that they're cutting them out, but they're allowing them to use OBS? I don't know what that fixes. So, all right then. Regardless of all of that, guys, I want to thank you very much for coming and joining us tonight. I'm very thankful to be able to sit here and chat with you at the moment. It got a little hairy there for a minute. It looked like it might not be happening for about a month or so. It looks like we're going to get shut down. Whew, catastrophe averted. Hey, so who we got here? We got Dennis Childs. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Heritage Farms. This is a new friend of mine, met today, and sir, I very much appreciate you coming and checking us out tonight, man. We're gonna have a good old time. We just kind of sit here and talk and chat about, I've got topics, as you can see, is in the description down below, and I've got some links that we can talk about here in just a minute. You know, I kind of want to lead a good, fun conversation, although I think YouTube they stole the conversation from us, at least to start with. But man, again, appreciate you having here. We're just gonna have a good old time chatting and hanging out. True North Angler, how's it going, man? Good to see you, dude. Always appreciate having you here, man. Love what you do. We got Old Beer Buzzard Lures. I like the sound of that. Now, that sounds like the kind of lure that I can stand behind. Old Beer Buzzard. That's cool. Appreciate you having you here, man. I look forward to seeing what you got to say. I'm still trying to figure out my live stream. I must need an external camera. You can use your phone, just get Streamlabs OBS, and there are some benefits of it once you learn it. Streamlabs OBS has some pretty cool stuff to it. I just hadn't wanted to take the time to learn it. Now I'm just going to be forced to do it. Streamlabs OBS and Teespring work in conjunction once you're a YouTube partner, so that's a pretty cool little deal. Who we got? Of course. Oh, we got Triple Tail TV, and man, I tell you what, I'm sorry. I've been so hectically like messing with all of this stuff that I completely forgot I have my extremely fashionable Triple Tail TV t-shirt that I was going to be wearing this live stream, and then I completely forgot to put it on. Sorry about that, but you're going to see more of that. I'll be sporting the Triple Tail shirt. I promise you that, my friend. We got Trophy Shot Outdoors. My boy, what was that subscriber number that you and I were like competing head to head with? Was that 500, something like that, a couple months ago? I'll never forget that, man. That was a lot of fun. We were hanging out at Pusa Studios or Gill Skills, one of those guys, and we were neck and neck trying to get our subscriber goal that one day. It was kind of fun. Who else we got in here, guys? I did not get an opportunity to send out the text message to my family, and that's unfortunate. I love having those guys here, but we might not be seeing Nick and Peter and Luke and my dad and all of those guys popping in. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a true test to see if they get notification. This is my family notification squad. We'll find out. We got, did I see Joy Stewart popped in? Is that correct? Yes, there she is. Hey, Joy Stewart, ma'am. It is an absolute pleasure to have you, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining us. I see that we got A&J Outdoors, or at least he was here earlier. Sir, if you are still here, very much appreciate having you here, man. And if not, I totally understand. Sorry for the technical difficulties that forced us to have a little bit of a delay. Yeah, that's how it goes. It's not the first time we've had technical difficulties, but it's the first time we've had them that have held up people and forced you guys to sit back in the chat and wait for me. Sorry. So, first... Hey, look at that. We do have Nick here. Nick is a notification squad guy, sir. Thank you, man. Nick, I'm really honored to see that, man. I thought you were just humoring me. That's cool. Always appreciate having you here, man. So, and I've got my little text thing over here, the chat stuff on the other little screen over here. Miss Joyce McGuire, absolute pleasure, ma'am. Thank you for joining us tonight. My thing is reloading on the other screen, so I guess the more technically advanced we get with our chats here, with our live streams, the more problems we have to deal with. C'est la vie, such is life. There it is, we got it back up. So first topic of conversation, and if you guys would like to read the article on this, I have a link to it in the conversation down in the description down below. Welcome to that. You feel free to check that out, rather. Actually, you know what? I apologize. Mr. John Isabella, good to see you, sir. Before I start with the conversation on just some topics that we can kind of chat about and stuff like that, I have something that I want to bring up. And this was kind of like a last minute addition to the topic of conversation, but it's the first order of business, in my opinion. I think it's the more pertinent topic, and that is, this afternoon, I was issued a challenge by a gentleman. If you guys haven't checked him out, Saltwater Hooked is the name of the channel. And I thought it was just the most ingenious and most heartfelt, most sincere challenge that I've ever seen in my life. And I mean, it was very touching. If you haven't seen it or not familiar with it, I'm giving you a little backstory on it. It's a very touching, very sincere challenge. I'm exceptionally honored to have been the one tagged with it, but all of that aside, the actual challenge itself is just the sort of thing that you don't see a whole lot of, particularly, you know, in smaller. You see bigger YouTubers do this, but this guy, he did a catch and cook. And he introduced it like, hey, we're going to have a challenge, but we're going to get to that later in the video. Right now, let's go catch some fish. And so he went fishing, he caught some fish, and then he went and cooked it up on his tailgate. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. You know, this is the content that I have come to enjoy. This is one of the things that I enjoy about YouTube, is watching these guys do this kind of stuff. And he got the whole thing prepared, and he shows it to you, and it was a very well done video. And then he's like, but we're not going to eat it. And he wraps the thing up with foil, and the guy goes driving down the road, and he gives it to a homeless veteran. And he goes through his whole thing. He's like, you know what, this is the right kind of thing to do. This is what we need to be doing. This is what more people need to be doing. And then he turns around and says, now, Stanley Orchard, I challenge you to do the same. And I watched that, and I was just, I could not believe what I had just seen. It was the most selfless YouTube act that I have come across. I don't even know, like, I like to up the ante. If somebody tells me to fish with a $3 lure, I'm going to fish with a $1 lure because I take it up a notch. How am I supposed to up that? How am I supposed to... And it's not even about that. It's not about doing better or... I mean, I can't. I'm not going to be doing better. I have to come up with a better idea. I have to figure out some way of, like, selflessly feeding 10 people just in order to... And even that's just going to be me copying this guy. This is a guy who came up with an original idea and just went and did it. And then after the fact, he puts the impetus on me to try to match him on that. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make my video. But Saltwater Hooked, if you guys want to check him out, you want to see that video, I've got a link to his channel in the description down below. I highly suggest, and I don't like to do this too often, but I would request that anybody who has a moment, check out that video, give him a thumbs up, and pat that man on the back. Our veterans need more, I'm not going to say they need more support, but those guys risk their lives and they devote their lives to us and the freedoms that we have access to here. You know, living in America, they're the ones that fight for our freedom. They're the ones who devote their lives to it. Our veterans deserve our gratitude. And anytime somebody's going to do something like that, I am going to wholeheartedly support somebody who does that. For example, Mr. Triple Tail TV is also a veteran, and sir, we very much appreciate your service. Thank you, Will. I don't know that, I think I've probably told you that before, but it doesn't matter. I could tell you that again, sir. We appreciate you. Appreciate your service. And you know, and Cole Outdoors, if he's in here, and if not, I again also appreciate your service, sir. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. We need to make that a big deal. We all need to recognize that. And that's what I appreciate about Saltwater Hooked, is that he did recognize it and he focused on that. And I have no idea what I am supposed to do to match just the class act that he put out today. So anyway, that is my spiel on that. Check out Saltwater Hooked. Check out that video, guys. Please give him a thumbs up, pat on the back. That is a video that goes beyond just being a video. That is a representation of what more people need to be doing with this platform. He does not have the reach that he should have for a video like that. So that's my 2 cents on that. Take a second here. Let's see what we got in the chat. See what everybody says. Is anybody gonna be mad at me? Am I rambling along a little bit too much here? Or, oh, Saltwater Hooked, you are in here, sir. Good. I'm glad you're here. Thank you again. I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate the challenge, and I appreciate the video that you did, sir. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal work. No, 10 people ain't gonna be awesome, man. That's the kind of video that 100,000 people need to see, because we all need to be doing that kind of video. We need to be selflessly creating for the right purposes, and that was the right purpose. That was the right reason to be making videos. Old Beer Buzzard Lures, I just started taking disabled, elderly, troubled youth, and wounded warriors on free guided fishing trips. I started 16 years ago when I moved to Minnesota. Kudos, man. I try to be an active participant in my community, in the community on YouTube, in the community that I live in here in South Texas, and I don't hold a lip match to that. I do my things. I do want to do more. My wife and I, we both try to be active participants in the community. Been a rough year, so we have not been as active as we like, but I support that, and we want to be there. You know, we want to get to that point where we're able to do it again. Call local VFW and ask who you could bring. Hey, that's a joy, man. That's a fantastic thing. I had a different idea on that, but I think you got the right answer to that. That would be a great approach. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate the idea on that. Got a plan for it, Stan? Yeah, Will, you always got a plan on it. I know you do. I know you do. We've had those conversations. Thank you for your service. Yeah, absolutely. All you guys. If there are any other veterans that I missed in the chat, please let me know, because we would all like to thank you for your service.
Your brother-in-law?
My brother-in-law included, a Marine, Sean, Rachel's brother. I don't like to just mention somebody. I prefer to tell it to him to their face. I believe I've told that to Sean, and if I haven't, I will. I'll say, but I want to say it to his face. Italian Around the World says that Holland Ash is cute, and she is absolutely right, or he is right, or someone's right about something. I don't know. Holland Ash, how are you doing there, sir? Always a pleasure to see you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. We got Wolverine Quadruple 7. Laughing out loud at Italian Around the World. Satisfying ASMR for you. I'm still trying to figure out what that ASMR thing is. I understand it's a YouTube thing. I'm not totally up to date with it. Regardless, thank you very much for joining us. I do appreciate that. We are talking about taking a moment to recognize our veterans, and Saltwater Hooked did that admirably today with the video that he put out today. So if you guys just popping in, I do have a link to Saltwater Hooked in the description down below. Please take a moment, check him out. He's also in the chat. Feel free to check him out, because that was an amazing, amazing video and a challenge that he put out. Big shout out to all you vets. I salute you all and thank you for your service. That's absolutely right, Dennis. Thank you, sir. I have a different idea for a challenge. Everyone that serves, thank you for your service. Yeah, Fish and Stripes. I've got some ideas for challenges, but now I just feel like they're all stupid after seeing that. It's gonna have to up the ante on that one. Tony Bishop, Vietnam 7172, sir. We appreciate you. Appreciate what you do. My uncle was in Vietnam, and I appreciate my uncle, and I appreciate having my uncle here today. So we appreciate you as well, sir. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you for allowing us to experience the freedoms that we have today. You are a very large part of that. I've got to go. Hope everyone has a great night. Miss McGuire, thank you very much for joining us, ma'am. I hope you have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Old Beer Buzzard Lures, Fishing for Life works with all less fortunate. They are well documented in volunteering and fishing adventures. My ministry is Kids Kicks for Christ. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. I'm still kind of new to this kind of community thing. We've been doing, we've had this channel since almost a year. At the end of April is going to be our first full year on YouTube, and we've only been doing live streams since late summer. And I say that because that was our first live stream. We've only really been doing live streams for 4 or 5 months now, maybe, give or take. I think it's about 4 or 5 months. So I'm still kind of new to this whole thing. I'm learning. I know a little bit, but I am still learning. And long story short, if there's anything I can do, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but if there's anything that I can do from my end to help you guys with that, I am happy to do it, man, because I do want to be a larger member of the community, a larger supporter of that sort of thing. Have some ideas. I haven't been able to accomplish much. It's strange because I do want to be a part of those sorts of things. I'm also a little bit of a homebody. I'm a little antisocial. I actually experience a little bit of social anxiety. I do better on stage than I do talking in a crowd. So I'm dealing with that, and I deal with it fine. It's all right. It's not like a big deal, but I don't like being in a crowd. So makes it hard to, it makes it a little difficult. Not that I make decisions based on that, but if I'm going to go do something and I'm being in a social kind of environment, I will be that guy that's hiding in the corner or finding something to do. I'll do it, but then I'll go hide in the corner. I like your channel a lot. Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate having you here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time you've been here. If it is, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope you are enjoying yourself. I hope we see you more in the future. You were saying that somebody was really cute, and whoever that is, you were absolutely right about that. And they're here often, so come and enjoy their pretty face. No challenge is silly. What's silly is thinking it's silly. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It can be silly. There's nothing wrong with that. And you can think it's silly, but still do it. You know what I mean? Just grow a spine and do it. Mr. Buddha's Place, sir, how are you doing, man? It is always an honor to have you here, sir. I very much appreciate having you here, sir. Speaking of, we were speaking a moment ago about a veteran, sir. And I want to tell you, I mean, we're on camera. I've said it to your face, and I'll say it again. I want to thank you very much for your service. We were talking about that a moment ago. A gentleman here challenged me to do a fishing video where we catch some fish and then feed it, give it to a homeless veteran. And I was really, really touched by his video and his challenge. I thought it was really cool. I'm up to the task, but I'm just like amazed at the video that this guy put together. I was enthralled with it. So that's what we've been talking about. And in the midst of all that, we're also, you know, saying, giving our gratitude to veterans. And Mr. Buddha's Place, I want to thank you, sir, for your service. We get to experience a lot of freedoms in our lives as a result of the things that you and your brethren put on the line for us, and we're all expressing our gratitude for that, sir. Thank you. Crowds equals bad. Yeah, I don't like crowds, man. I don't like going to like HEB. Their aisles are too, you know, I don't like having to walk around somebody. If somebody puts a shopping cart in the middle of the aisle, it just drives me up a wall. Oh my God, I can't stand that. It's clogging the veins of society. And I don't know why I'm like that. I just am. And it just comes down to being antisocial. It's social anxiety, whatever the deal may be. I don't know. But that's what it all comes down to. It's not like I hate people. I just don't like being around them. Large crowds. People I don't know. I like my friends, you know, just not large crowds. Just come go fishing with the beer buzzard. I'm an old fisherman. Love myself old fisherman, man. I plan on being one day. Probably a lot sooner than later. No electronics, no cell phones. You're speaking my language, although I am a YouTuber. It's got to be a caveat. There's got to be an asterisk to that. As other than the YouTubing, I'm totally cool with no electronics. No cell phones. The only fish finder is my lures. I like the sound of that. I'm not a fan of the Taxman. that is a reference to the next little thing. This is just a cute little story I saw on the news, and I thought it'd be funny to talk about. This guy was fishing, and now off the top of my head, I don't remember where he was fishing, but like I said, you want to read the article. There's a link to the Taxman article in the description down below. And what this dude did was out there shark fishing, and he caught, like, I want to say, I believe he said it was his PB shark. It was his personal best, biggest shark he ever caught in his life. And the thing was like 500-600 pounds, something like that. Massive shark. And as he was reeling it in, a bigger shark bit it in half. The mega Taxman. Can you imagine? Think about that. We're talking like a 10-foot shark. And it wasn't just like a nurse shark. It was like a 10-foot mako or something that this dude was reeling in, and something went after and bit that thing in half. The picture, and there's only one, the Associated Press only had one picture of the thing, but the picture of the head that he reeled in and put up on the boat, like he could have put his head inside the head of that thing that he reeled up. And all I could sit there and think of myself, like, he better had that thing mounted. It was a cool, cute little story, but it was just the picture alone was like, wow. Didn't see anything on YouTube about it. There wasn't anything other than the article I saw, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to, you know, take a moment and just kind of chat about that. What's the biggest one? I've experienced this before. We were out a couple years ago. We were out fishing offshore, and we got into a school of mahi. And hooked in a little chicken dolphin. It wasn't the big Dorado, but it was a little chicken dolphin. And hooked into a little, you know, 36-inch or something along those lines. Just a random little Dorado that we had on. And then as we were reeling it in, the rod just tripled over. Just, you know, just went down like that. And then popped back. And we reeled it in, no fight on the line, you know, the whole 9 yards. We reeled it in, and we got up into the boat about a half of a 36-inch Dorado, and he had a bunch of beat marks in him. Looked like he'd been beaten with a baseball bat or a very small, or like a beat stick or something. And what it was a sailfish or a marlin or something had popped him You could see the indentions where it had, hit him, took a bite out of it, and it had the indentions of their weird shaped little mouth. And then, he ended up like biting it in half and getting off. But we got this cool beat to hell looking little Dorado in the boat that day. So I've experienced this. I'm curious, guys, what have y'all experienced with that? Have you ever been, have you paid your dues to the Taxman? And if you have, I'd like to hear about it, man. What's your stories? You ever experienced that hunting? I mean, we've experienced it several times. That's the worst one that I can think of. That's the biggest one that I can think of, at least off the top of my head. We have experienced that other times. I spoke on part of Ardent at ICAST last year, freaking almost, yeah. That dude, Will, that's awesome. I want to have more conversations about that. I like those boys over at Ardent. These guys are cool. Movie theater, not anymore. Oh man, I'm afraid I'm a little bit behind. And Mr. Bishop, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to there. Is anyone fond of the Taxman? If I can get a hook in his mouth, that's all. Can you imagine using like a 10-foot shark as bait? Like, what kind of hook would you put on that thing? Would you dang? I can't. All these lures that these guys are doing. Like, what kind of jig would you put on that shark? What kind of leader would you use for that shark? If you're gonna dangle that thing, can you imagine having a 500-pound shark and you're jigging it? How do you fish for the shark that eats a 500-pound shark? I don't think that they think it was a bigger mako. They did not think it was a they did not think it was a great white for some reason. I forget the reason why, but it was possible. But they knew that it wasn't a killer whale. I think they ruled out killer whale because that's about what they were. Because the mouth was too small for a killer whale. The bite mark was. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that they were talking about. I was like, okay, well, the options are like, great white, killer whale, something like that. They're going to eat you, bud. I know, right? Man, I don't go fishing for stuff like that too often. Very rarely, because most of the time you're not able to eat it, and we fish to eat. But I gotta admit, I do like catching me big fish like that. Let's see, what do we got? Italian around the world. What did you say? It's making people laugh. You got a little smiley face over there. Or is that a blushy face? I'm not too good with emojis. I don't know what they mean. Like, I see them, but I never put them anywhere. And the reason is because I don't understand what I'm saying to people. The Kraken. That's funny, Tony. The Kraken took a bite out of it. It was the Meg. Yeah, Nick, you beat me to it. I was going to say it's the Meg. There's always a bigger fish. That's for you guys who don't know Laura Orchard. That is my mom. And Mom, thank you very much for joining us. We just went out and had dinner, and I had to skip out on dinner kind of quick so that I could get here in time for this. And then I get here, and all of a sudden YouTube is telling Mom, I tell you what, that was a for real thing. We were talking about the restaurant. YouTube is shutting us down on live streaming with our cell phones. I was able to get around that, but that's going to be a big deal. Unless I'm just totally behind the times. If that seriously happened just recently, and I wasn't aware of it, that's going to be a big hot topic of conversation on YouTube in the next coming days. At least I think it is. I don't know. Anyway, back to the Taxman. What do we got? You look like a good fishing buddy. You talking about Saltwater Hooked? Or are you talking about Joy Stewart? I would think they are both good fishing buddies. And that's what they were laughing at. You have the coolest beard. Are you talking about me? I do have the coolest beard, so it would be hard to be talking about anyone else, because there's very few people in here. My brother is not in here. And that having been said, Nick had the coolest beard until he shaved it all off. Sorry, Nick, you'd have had it. But now, like Samson, you've lost your power. How did you get around it? Who are you talking about, Dennis? Get around what? Who are you talking to? Hello, ma'am. You have a great son, the coolest Lord. Appreciate that, Saltwater Hooked. I do apologize, Mom. My parents have a few gray hairs as a result of myself and my brothers, and I am apologetic for that, although at the same time they raised hell for their parents as well. So it was due. But yeah, she did a wonderful job raising us. My mother is a saint. Period, bar none. Is that Darren guy? What's up, Darren? It's good to see you, man. Dude, that video you put out today, that was really cool, man. It was really, really pretty looking stuff out on that lake, man. It's just, I'm not, a South Texas boy here. I don't do snow and I don't do ice. Regardless, you made that look really pretty. You made it look like a whole lot of fun in that video you put out, man. Been lurking for a while. That's cool. That's cool. I get you. I do the same thing. And guys, if you haven't checked out, well, I mean, you know the whole game. Check everybody out. Say hi. Do that whole 9 yards. Yeah. So like basically, essentially, guys, everybody who is in this chat right now is like 95% of my all-time favorite channels on YouTube, just so you know. Perfect example, I got Saltwater Hooked in the description of my video down here. That ain't by, random happenstance. And if you ever watch the live streams, I always manage to try to fit in somebody's channel in the description down below for one reason or another. Saltwater Hooked got it today, but I've had Triple Tail TV and who else? Joy. You know what? Actually, Joy, I had a thing for you that got canceled as a result of some other stuff, but I actually had a thing for you a while back too. I'm sorry about that. I didn't follow through, but you were, I had a thing for you, if that means anything at all. I'm glad you made it to sainthood, Mom. You earned it. You didn't make it. You earned sainthood, and you worked hard for it for 28 years, 38 years. Don't think for a second that I don't recognize that. How are you doing there, J&H Outdoors? Pleasure having you here, sir. How are you doing, man? I'm just dealing with backed up footage. Ice fishing season is over for us. Is that what you're doing? Yeah, I mean, you saw what I did with Cozumel, dude. I was in Cozumel for a week and I posted videos for 2.5 months. I'm actually not done. I'm going to do some how-to stuff using the footage from Cozumel. So for you guys who don't know, I got a couple of how-to videos that I'm going to be putting out as soon as I have 30 seconds to put them together. You are going to be seeing some Cozumel footage again. We're going to be rehashing some of the B-roll. My apologies on that. I need to make a couple of videos that rank in search and fulfill the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. Sometimes, we got a good community here, and sometimes people tend to think that's a slap in the face. People that I'm changing direction or something like that. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to add to the library is all. We're going to continue doing our vlog thing. We're going to continue doing our live streams if YouTube allows us to do so. But I'm going to try to, you know how it is, like how I worked in a couple of them little like product reviews and stuff like that. I'm going to be doing the same thing with some how-tos just to appease the algorithm. What do we got here? J&H Outdoors just hit 600, sir. Congratulations. We just hit 850 today. I was kind of tickled about that, thanks to Pusa Studios. Got a review from him. If you guys are trying to grow a channel, I highly suggest you check out Pusa Studios, as well as Nick Nimmin, Daryl Eves, Roberto Blake. You really, really want to grow a channel, you want to work at it, check those dudes out. Study, read, and listen to the writings and the wise words of Nick Nimmin, Roberto Blake, Daryl Eves, Evan Carmichael, Tim Schmoyer, video creators, video influencers. It's a good group of guys. They know what they're talking about. And if you like anything that I do on this channel, it was something that is related to what I've been told from those guys. How are you doing there, HK2? How are you doing, man? I know that you've had some difficult times recently. I hadn't forgot about that, and so I want to tell you it's an absolute pleasure having you here, man. It's good to see you. I would like to hear some good news here that things have been a little bit better for you this week as opposed to the rough weeks you've had prior. What do we got? Do you follow Farmall Fanatic? I do. I like Farmall. That dude, for one, great attitude. For two, his little channel, like the beginning, what do you call that? The beginning part of his video that he, like, it's always the same segment that he always has, channel trailer or whatever it's called, is freaking amazing. I look at that and I'm just like, every time I see it, I'm just like, why didn't I do that? Why did I not do that? because it is just awesome. Farmall Fanatics got the coolest channel intro I've ever seen, period, bar none. I don't get to hang out in Farmall Fanatics live streams as much as I'd like to, and that's just as a result of him. Like, he streams at 7:30 at night on a Friday night. Not a good time for me to be on my phone. Just I'm either busy at work, trying to get out of work for the weekend. You know, I'm trying to earn my weekend at 7:30 at night on a Friday. So that's why you hadn't seen me over there. But love Farmall to death, though. I'm always saying hi to him, and I'll tell anybody out there Farmall is fantastic at what he does. And also, if you want to grow your channel, check out Farmall Fanatics live stream. That thing is that's one of the ways of doing it, is checking out his live stream. Everybody there, great community. Who we got here? Those guys are great. Hey, fishing and stuff. How's it going, man? Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you coming and joining us here. Loved the video on the rod mounts for the truck, man. Those are really cool. Good stuff. I can't weld. I've welded before. I'm terrible at it. I know I need practice and stuff like that. I don't have the ability, the equipment to learn how to do it and stuff like that, but I'm very envious of the things that you do, man. I want to tell you before I leave in a few minutes that I appreciate the shout out, and I'm hoping to see what you come up with on a challenge. Thanks for having me. Saltwater Hooked, I got to tell you, sir, give me just a little bit of time on that. I don't want to just cram that video out, and I don't want to just cram out a dumb experience in order to fulfill the obligations of a YouTube challenge. I want to do that right. And I want to do it right for more than just like a video on YouTube. I want to do it right because I want to do service to those gentlemen. I mean, I want to do it right for the actual thing of doing it. And then I got to try to figure out some way of doing that right and getting it on camera. So give me just a little bit of time to try to accomplish that. But that's goal number one right now, man. I want to do that. And I thank you for making me the object of that challenge. Thank you. I'm honored. It should have been like, that's a Mr. Beast kind of challenge, man. It's a tall order. Gonna make it happen, but it's gonna take a little bit of work. So like I said, just give me a little bit of time to accomplish it. Back, what did I miss? Fishing Stripes, you missed it. I just gave away $300. Oh, and I thought you were gonna be the one to get it. Nah, we're just hanging out and chatting, man. Yeah, just kind of going through the chat. We were talking about the Taxman and all that stuff. Now we're just kind of saying hi and going back through the chat. And we will be getting to the second portion, or the next portion of topic conversation, all that fun stuff in just a minute here, kind of saying hi and checking in with everybody. We have not been as up to date with our live streams as I like to be, and that's just a product of, you know, life in general, work. I'm always complaining about work. I'm sorry about that. This has been a little bit rough. Busy. It's been busy. It's been a lot better. It's been a lot better the last couple of weeks. We're at the light at the end of the tunnel now, which has been really nice. So I'm finally getting to experience that. God, that just rambling on about work. I'm sorry about that. That's why I got you. That's exactly right, Dennis. For you guys who don't know, and Dennis, FYI, we can't talk about work. You know, that whole thing, but Dennis here is my assistant manager. So that is the gentleman. If I have any time off at all, it is a result of that gentleman allowing me to do it. So thank you, Dennis. I do appreciate it. See what you got. Mr. WTF Mike Albrick and my dad, Paul Orchard. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. And as always, very much appreciate you having you here, guys, man. Thank you for coming and playing with us tonight. You missed out on something. Hey, maybe WTF Mike, you know a lot about this stuff, man. One of the few I would venture to say probably knows more than me, and even if I don't say it, you probably do regardless. So when I was trying to live stream earlier, I was told that you now have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to live stream with a mobile device. Do you know anything about that? That is news to me. I did not know about that. It wouldn't let me. I was late to the live stream because it wouldn't let me open up a live stream here. I'm still working on getting 100 now after closing my kids' Kicks for Christ. I had 3 million subs. Ouch, my friend. Well, I had to restructure my YouTube. Seems you mentioned Christ, you get hate and violent threats. To be fair, You could mention Christ and get hate and violent threats. You could also mention Logan Paul. You know, they're in good company, I guess, although I'd rather have Christ than Logan Paul. That's just my personal opinion. I would venture that you know, thing out to those people who seem to have an issue with it. You know, you can have Christ or you can have Logan Paul. They're kind of on opposite sides of that little Venn diagram. Mike. Oh shoot, man, I am getting behind on here, guys, aren't I? I'm sorry. You got a Tacoma, I'll send it to you. I don't, but I'll take your Tacoma if you're going to send it. I don't. I have a Silverado, and to be honest with you, man, I appreciate that. I have a Silverado, but I'm hoping to be upgrading here pretty soon. So thank you. Don't do that. I really appreciate that. When it comes time for something like that, I will be hitting you up about it, though. It's just poor timing for me, but thank you. I really appreciate that fishing and stuff. I will teach you how to MIG weld in 5 minutes. I know you will, Nick, but you're not going to teach me how to do it well. and that's partially because I'm not going to learn it well, especially not in 5 minutes. Challenge fishing videos using no electronics, no fish finders. It's the old school fishing. I'm not even going to read the rest of that, man, because I've got a challenge along those lines that I do plan on doing. It's got to be kind of, well, the reason I hadn't done it is because I want to do it, you know, real well thought out and stuff like that. So I'm not even going to continue that conversation because I don't want to like oust this idea that I've been working on it just a little bit here. Logan Paul will get you more views. That's yeah, Buddha's Place. You're not wrong about that. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. Hence I guess that's part of the YouTube curse or something. And to be fair, to be honest, guys, just so you know, I bring up the Logan Paul name. I'm not entirely sure who Logan Paul even is. Like, I'm vaguely aware. I don't know anything about him. I know that there is some vitriol towards Logan Paul, and I'm not even entirely sure why. So I brought up a random name. If I've got the name wrong, or if somebody is a fan of Logan Paul, I'm not trying to offend anybody. It was just kind of like a generic reference. Stanley need to go on one camping trip, so get ready to cover a weekend. Oh yeah, Dennis, so you're aware. Sinox, Nick there is a very, very good friend. He's my best friend, has been my best friend for many years. Yeah, we're going to be needing to do some camping here pretty soon. Dennis, I'm going to need your assistance on that. I cannot live stream because I'm only on a mobile device. I need to get around it. Yeah, Dennis, I can get you around that, man. I was able to get it going tonight. You download an app called Streamlabs OBS. It's a really good program. It's actually better than just live streaming alone. Without it, I haven't learned it yet. There's some tricks to it that will allow you to have a better live stream experience, but you can use that to live stream off a phone. Not a big deal. Mr. C Pro Fishing with Wayne, how are you doing, man? Always a pleasure to have you here, sir. My MIG welding is so easy, dude. 5 minutes, 20 what? 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, okay, 20 minutes you can teach me. When I don't know that I've ever learned anything in 20. You know what? But no, we're going to have some fun with this, Nick. We're just going to go ahead and just MIG it out one night. We're just going to go to town and start welding things. Irvin, the paid tourist, appreciate you, man. How have you been? I saw you in somebody's chat earlier today. I didn't say hi, and I apologize for that. It might have been Pusa. Was it Pusa Studios? I'm not sure. Regardless, you know, that stream was just flying, so I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. I was also lurking while working, and really not trying to say hi to too many people. I wasn't trying to ignore you in particular. I was just trying to get through my day. Ken, what I miss here? Can you send a link later, please? Yeah, not a problem, Dennis. I'm happy to, man. I'm happy to send links to anybody who would like a link to any of these applications or devices or anything that I use. It will be an affiliate link, so we do get paid anytime you hit that link, and it does not come at any additional cost to you, but it does go to support this channel, and I would like to thank you in advance for supporting this channel. That's my generic, and I'm not too good at it. I haven't said too many times, but that is my generic affiliate marketing link presentation thing or whatever. If you have an affiliate link, you have to say that somewhere. So I'm training myself to say it. I don't use OBS on my phone. I just got right off YouTube and Hangouts. You see, it's maybe you can do it off of Hangouts, I don't know, but I was trying to live stream right off of my phone earlier like I've always done. Wouldn't let me do it. Said I had to have 1,000 subscribers, and I was just like, man, this is a bad April Fool's joke. But it wouldn't. I tried for 20 minutes, would not let me live stream. I ended up having to download Streamlabs OBS on my phone, and thank goodness it worked. It worked. And I didn't know if that was a new thing or maybe I've just been behind. I streamed last week. I saw people streaming today. I don't know who was on their phone. Brenda was, but she might have her 1,000 subscribers. So I just didn't know what to think about it. I'm left scratching my head trying to figure this whole thing out. Yeah, probably so. I'm sorry, even a paid tourist. Oh, yeah, because it was Pusa. I bet it was Pusa where I saw you. I'm watching your channel while I'm cutting my hair. Hey, man, I totally hear you on that. I'll do the same thing. In fact, I've gotten into the habit. We have a couple of channels here who have been attempting to, they've satisfied the YouTube thing for subscribers, and now they're trying to get their watch time. So I have like the little tablet that we got sitting here. It's an old tablet. It barely works, but what I've been doing to kind of play my part is just sit there and just let that thing play through playlists while I'm, sitting on the phone doing this kind of thing, whatever I'm working on at the time, trying to help people out. So that's what I've been doing. HK2, thank you. I kind of went off on a weird little tangent. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I went that direction with it. Yeah, Pusa's chat is supercharged. You're right about that. It's, like you go to some of these other channels and you go in there and you get to say hi and kind of hang out. Like right now, we got 18 people in here, guys. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I don't think that's the most we've ever had, but that's definitely a little bit more than what we normally get. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I really do appreciate that. Kind of lost my train of thought on that again, man. I went like Brenda with the squirrel. God, I was saying something about that. Now I'm like, oh, anyway, yeah, Pusa's chat. That's what it was. So, we kind of, I'm more accustomed to something like this where we get to sit here and address them and what everybody's saying, have a little chat and hang out and have a good old time, stuff like that. But Pusa's is just, you can't say hi to that, like your little message is going to be on the screen for about 5 seconds. You have to have, I'm on a mobile device, so I have to type at capital W, capital T, capital F, capital M, IKE, capital A. I got to type the entire name with the @ sign so that Mike's name pops up in the red bar so that he can see that I'm talking to him. And even then, if you're in Pusa Studios, man, that's only going to be on there for like 5 seconds. You better hope that their eyes are on that screen at that time. If they turn to sneeze, I was actually kind of curious about that today. Like, I thought some people were mad at me because I kept saying hi to them via hook. A couple of other guys, like I kept saying hi to them. Gill Skills was another one. And nobody was saying hi back. And I was just like, are people mad at me? Did I do something? And then I realized that it's just the typical thing that happens, when you're on YouTube and you just happen to not get said hi back to. You know what I mean? The stream is going. People are, they just missed your message. Turns out they were not mad at me. At least I don't think they were, or they hit it well. Not at first, but they hit it well after the fact. You good? I'm still listening to you. Hey, appreciate that, man. We still got who is that Italian person here? They kind of cut that conversation off kind of quick. I was asking who they're. They made a comment about the beard and mustache and then left. Right? Or are you still here? Are you still hanging out? Were you talking to me? I assume so because the beard thing, but I'm not sure. Who we got? You good? I'm still listening. Oh, I read that one. Sorry, but thank you. That's outstanding, helping people. Yeah, Buddha's Place. I totally agree with you, man. That I again totally. If we're talking about Saltwater Hook's video, that was really a really cool setup to that whole thing. I'm enthralled. I'm enthralled by the concept of that video. I plan on like taking a whole new direction as a result of that video alone. I think we all need to be doing more stuff like that. I have been with Pusa Studios when they were 150, 200. I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen it like that. That's just flying. Good back then. We could actually talk and get to know other people. Man, you want to talk about seeing them 150. Man, you want to see Buddha's Place knows about that. I'm selling you out on that, man. I apologize, but you guys want to see a fast stream, check out Buddha's Place. Has a good one, and he has another channel, Buckethead Nation. You want to see a live stream fly? You have not seen a live stream fly like you have on the things that they do on Buckethead Nation, man. Which one of the reasons why I'll be openly honest, I'm a little bit more fan of Buddha's Place, because it's you actually get to have a little bit of a conversation. On Buckethead Nation, that thing is going so fast that there's just, you're throwing a dart and reading a comment, and then, you know, it goes and then throwing a dart and reading that one comment. I don't know how you guys do that, man, but I'm enthralled at watching it. When you have 1,500, 2,500 people in a chat, you can't see a message there moving. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Like what I was saying. Yeah. Again, yeah. You want to see some chat fly. Buddha's Place and Buckethead Nation, man. That thing is insane. Miss Jennifer, it is an absolute pleasure, ma'am. How are you doing there? Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Yeah, you almost hit 2 million? Where's Buddha's Place at right now? Last I saw, you were like right at 25,000. I want to say that's the case. You're right at about 25,000. Looking at you, man, I want you to know that, sir. I respect and appreciate your friendship as an individual. You are not just a good YouTuber. You are, I've told you that before, you're just an awesome person. I just like having you around. I enjoy conversing with you. I enjoy sitting back and having a cup of coffee. At the same time, do not think for a second that I am not studying absolutely everything that you guys do. I'm listening, I'm hanging on every word you guys have to say, man. Awesome, Jennifer. Very nice to hear that, ma'am. What you been up to today? I stopped in. That was you live streaming earlier, right? Or am I wrong? That wasn't you. That was someone else. I don't know who that was. I saw you somewhere. I said hi or something. Like, now my brain's all fried. It's been a long day. Sorry about that. 26,834. There you go. Them some real, man, I cannot wait to see some numbers like that. And you know how it is. I know we've talked about it, but the second you get to a number like that, then you're like, onward to 50, onward to 100. I know. We all want what we don't yet have. I'm in the same boat with that, man, but good to see it. Good to see it. Where did I see you earlier, Jennifer? I know I talked to you for a second, said hi or something, and now I'm just not remembering it. To be fair, my day consisted of being up at work at about 5:30 this morning. Might have been earlier. I'm not going to go through the whole work thing. Sorry, not going to do it. The other topic of conversation I got down in the chat, and I'm curious, we don't have to sit here and talk about this if you don't want to, but I'm kind of curious your thoughts on this, because this piqued my interest when I was reading the news earlier. And that is that they are in Washington proposing, or they're proposing a rule. They're talking about the concept of doing a rule where charter fishermen are going to be required to record the fish that they catch on their charters. Doesn't sound like too big of a deal. So what? You keep track of what you catch. The charter fishermen are, you know, obviously anytime you're going to make a rule like that for somebody, they're not too fond of the rule, and it's not really a big deal. So what? You record the fish that you catch. That wouldn't bother me too much. But if you have to record it, then you have to report it. And if you have to report it and you're wrong, you're going to get in trouble. So I do kind of see where they're going with that, where they would not want to do it. The other side of the coin on that is that the reason they want charter fishermen to record their catch is because they believe that the recreational anglers are making an impact to the environment in the amount of fish that they're catching. That I disagree with. While they do make an impact, if you are focusing on the impact of the recreational fishermen, you are ignoring the impact of the commercial fishermen, and that is 95% of the impact on the environment. So while I really have no concern, I don't care if they are requiring guides to record their catches, my immediate thought is, what are they? I know that commercial fisheries are required to record their numbers and report their numbers. What is the impact? What effect are we going to have on the impact of making the charter guys do this? And what are your thoughts on that? Do you think they should have to record this? Is that going to make an impact? If that came to your state, this is just Washington right now, but if that came to your state where you would be required to log and record the fish that you were catching as for the purposes of maintaining fisheries, would you do it? Do you care? Does it matter? Is this just a non-conversation, or is this something that would impact you to the point where you feel like, I don't like this rule, I don't want to do this, I disagree? I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on that. I'm a numbers guy, so I have no problems reporting to them the hundreds and hundreds of pounds of fish that I catch every year, because I am an amazing angler. That's sarcasm for you guys who are new here. I'm a sarcastic person. I do catch hundreds and hundreds of pounds of fish every year, but I also have a very dry wit, and that's just my strange sense of humor. I'm weird like that. But I do not have a problem recording my fish and sending it to them. And not that they're even asking me to do that. It's charter guides. I'm just saying, you know, let's put on our shoes. Let's look through their glasses while we're like doing this. So if it passes in Washington, it's going to be something that other states are going to consider. And before that happens, I would like to know everybody's opinion. I'd like to know where I stand right now, but am I wrong? I want to know what other people's thoughts are on that. And while we're at it, good evening, Mr. Georgia Bassmasters. I very much appreciate having you here, sir. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing on this fine, wonderfully comfortable Thursday evening? What do we got here? Just got an email from YouTube, 1,000 required from live. You just got that email. That's what I'm saying. That's what happened to me earlier tonight. It wasn't going to let me live stream. So you know the workaround on that, if you use your phone for live streaming, download Streamlabs OBS. That's how I was able to do it. And I will be putting a video out on that immediately as soon as this stream is over. And I'm talking like you're going to see that video pop up in like 5 minutes, because that is going to be a hot button issue. Sounds like big government. Let them worry about health care. Right? Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be a problem if the numbers of fish are overfished. And see, that's the whole thing, is recreational anglers, they don't make that drastic of an impact on wildlife populations. They make an impact, but the impact when compared to commercial fisheries is like, we're talking like 1% of what commercial fisheries do. Why are they worrying about that 1%? If there's an impact on the environment going on, maybe we should look at the other 99% first. That's just my thought on that. It would do good for everyone if it was done for at least a year. I can't disagree with that. 10 years ago, I could catch a 20-25 inch trout. Now I struggle to catch a limit of 15 inch. I totally agree with you there. And it's the exact same thing for blue crabs. Snapper, although, you know, snapper do fine, but same thing. I mean, we were catching 25, 30 pound snapper, and now we're catching 15 pound snapper. You know, the 25, 30 pounders are in federal waters, and they let the guides go offshore in the federal waters to catch the bigger snapper. They're given provisions that allow them to do so when recreational anglers are not allowed to do so. But they don't want to do it. The guides don't want to take their boats into federal waters to go get those snapper, because it's not cost effective. They don't want to spend an extra couple $100 getting that far offshore just for a few extra snappers. So they continue to fish in the inshore rigs, which that rule helped absolutely nobody. If anything, they should allow maybe the recreational anglers to go into federal waters and not the charter guys, I guess, right? Because the charter guys are not taking advantage of it. They don't want to spend the gas. I think maybe the recreational anglers might. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. But that whole rule was an absolute dud. I'm not going to say it was a dumb idea, but it was a fail. Only for mobile, can still do desktop. Yeah, you can still use, YouTubers with under 1,000 subscribers are still able to use their laptops, and you are still able to use OBS, Open Broadcast Software. But for some reason, they shut it down for mobile streaming. I don't know why that is. But yeah, you can't go through YouTube to stream. Like I said, but you can download Streamlabs OBS or any other OBS, Open Broadcast, and you can still stream. I don't understand it. We're going to find out. Everybody's going to have videos on that in about 1 hour. 1 hour, you're going to see an explosion of videos about that. I'm sure of it. It's part of the purge, or what was the big YouTube anarchy thing everybody was talking about. Like when they switched over to the requirement for 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, and it was they had the Adpocalypse and the other YouTube thing that everyone was freaking out about. This isn't that big, but it's up there. In my opinion, it's up there. Dude, how many people do we run into put in the water? Sure, it affects fish lives, but nope, yeah. Not the, the 5 snapper that we catch per trip per person, the 2 or 3 times a year that we get offshore to do it, means nothing compared to the guys that are filling the shelves at H-E-B and Walmart with snapper. Nothing, drop in a bucket. Think about it, some anglers catch and release, also a good point. So I don't know why the government is even worrying about it. It would be different if there were a shortage of fish. Now see, this is one slight difference, and you're absolutely right about that, and it's not something that I totally considered. With the saltwater stuff that we do down here, the majority of people that are fishing that kind of stuff are fishing for meat. They keep what they catch. If the regulations allow them to do so, they keep the catch that they get. A little bit more so than like that's one of the small differences between what we do down here and what the guys are doing with bass fishing, and when they're fishing for walleye and pike, and I don't know exactly what I'm talking about with walleye and pike. I assume that those are a lot of catch and release stuff. I don't think you catch a whole bunch of those at least and eat them. But the stuff that you get offshore, those guys keep those fish. So while you're absolutely right about catch and release is not being accounted for on that, I will say that there's a lot less catch and release happening offshore than there is inshore and in fresh water. We keep those. If you're spending a couple $100s to get offshore, you are filling that box with fish. However you got to do it, you're making it happen. Commercial fishing is ruining recreation. Every year I go down, there is some new reason why I can't keep a couple snappers or amberjack. Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm very cautious on my stance on that because we need commercial fishing. I do not like that when we were talking about it in a live stream recently, I do not like that you go to H-E-B and you buy red snapper, but you are actually buying lane snapper or mutton snapper, a different variety of red snapper. I don't like that they lie to you. I don't like that the general public requires it to say red snapper. Sell lane snapper, sell mutton snapper. It's the same damn thing. You're not going to tell the difference. Slightly different tinge color to the skin is by the time it's sitting on a pack of ice at Walmart. So if they were able to put on the label mutton snapper and people didn't freak out and they purchased it the same they would do red snapper, then commercial fisheries could put a little bit more of an emphasis on catching mutton snapper and lane snapper, dog snapper. They wouldn't have to worry about catching red snapper. And then the limitations on red snapper would not be as bad because it is the commercial fisheries that are the big problem with a species like red snapper. So I'm kind of working the math on this. Like, how would you work that out? What would you need to do? I don't want to blame commercial fish. Oh, I do blame commercial fisheries, but at the same time, I like to be able to go to the store and buy some fish, and fish is an important food source. It's an important, integral part of our diet. I think it's an important part of a lot of people's diets. So you need to be able to go into the store and buy snapper. I don't care if it's red snapper or lane snapper or dog snapper. I don't like that they have to lie about it and put red snapper on the tag, and I'm like that about a lot of things. I think the general public, like the mass mentality, ruins a lot of things. You know, it messes a lot of people up. So that's my little diatribe on that. I don't have an answer. I don't have a solution or a direction. I think that we should all go with that, but that's my 2 cents, is that maybe that would be the big solution to everything. Let HEB sell lane snapper and quit freaking out about it. Don't make them call it red snapper just in order to get their sale. New Zealand shooter. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying on that, man, but I hope that is not as bad as that sounds. I hope that's not like a new news thing that I'm missing out on. Tournament anglers cull their catches while they're iced down. I've seen hundreds of sails floating while I was in Florida. Yeah, I've seen that too, and actually, to be fair, that was a portion of the argument for what Washington is doing in the proposed bill that they were talking about. One of their arguments that why the charter guides needed to record their catch was because the river, whatever river or lake or whatever the water body was that they were fishing on and using as an example in this, was referred to as I-5, like it was a highway, because there were so many charter guides on there. I think that sounds fairly dramatic. We've all seen traffic like that. We all know how that is, but I think that's probably slightly dramatic in representation. But yeah, it gets crowded out there, and I've seen it. I've seen Island Queen. I've seen them boys out at Dolphin Docks just crowd the crap out of a good fishing spot and destroy it. I've seen those guys murder them. You've seen it. We've laughed about that on, you know, behind closed doors when it's just, you know, you and me talking. Not big on saying that sort of thing on a live stream, but I'm saying it now regardless. Those guys will flat out murder a fishing spot. You get 300 fishing rods dropping into the water on one spot that's got 25 fish. You're going to be leaving there, ain't going to be any fish left. There was 25 before that we all had access to. Those guys will go and absolutely fish it out. So I'm not the biggest fan of these guides. At the same time, I do want to be fair. At the same time, I want my six-pack. I'd be a charter guide, you know. Give me a captain's license. I will convince my wife that we can become, or I will try to convince my wife that we can become millionaires as charter captains, just like every other charter captain out there. So as much as I would at least think that I would enjoy being a charter guide, I don't want to hate them entirely, because I'm slightly envious of what they do, even though I understand that their lives are not what you might think they are, that their jobs are not quite what you think they are. But yeah, so I don't want to entirely hate them, but at the same time, yeah, I see them just absolutely destroying really good fishing spots, and I do hate them for that. I want to say that I wouldn't do that, because I want to be a little bit more conscious. How do you cross that line? How would you be a charter fishing guide without fishing out a spot? Man, that is the question of life right there. Think of how would you be a charter fishing guide and not destroy the, no, I'm not going to say destroy the environment. As long as you're not the Island Queen, you're not going to be destroying anything. What am I talking about? I don't even need to worry about it. I love asking the restaurant what kind of grouper, and you get the blank stare. Exactly. Oh, I know exactly what you're saying with that, man. Grouper, and the one we were talking about last time was, what was it? Scallops, and how they used to serve you stingray. We've been served stingray and told it was scallops, because they're similar, but not at all. What's some other ones like that? I know there's other ones. Salmon, the Atlantic versus Pacific and farm-raised varieties of salmon. Steelhead versus the other ones. I'm a saltwater guy, so a southern saltwater guy, so I don't really know my salmon too well, but I know that they've had issues with those guys as well, and they like to dye the color of the meat, things like that. That is why we need to support the CCA, bro, and I totally agree with that. They do make artificial reefs. Also agree with that, and I plan on making a few myself without. No, I'm not going to do that. But I do plan on being a member of CCA. I haven't done that just because I'm lazy. I do plan on jumping in on that. I have been a member of Surfrider, and I would like to join that one up again because they do similar stuff. I would like to be a member of Surfrider and CCA. Going to make that a goal. You guys, I'm going to make you hold me to it. Don't let me let that go. I want to be a member of CCA and Surfrider again this year. And by this year, I mean before summer. You can get your captain's license in 5 days now. 5 days and $1,000. You guys see that? Jackie Shea got hers. I wonder how long it took her. Actually, it took her a little bit. I'm not gonna give her too much of a hard time about that. I like to prod the beast. I like to give a hard time to those guys who have put in their time and have bigger YouTube channels. Those are the guys I like to prod. Sometimes it annoys them. I think I've annoyed Yak Motley a couple of times. I think I've annoyed Brant Preacher, Angler Up with Brant a couple of times, and Robert Arrington won't talk to me. I don't know if that's just because it's such a big channel or what, but that dude has never once responded to the things that I have said to him. The other guys have. And at the same time, I've also gotten good comments from them. So cool guys. And I got nothing against Robert Arrington, but I will get a response from that man. I'm gonna get a comment from him. It's not guiding if you do it for free, then get paid by how many dinners you bring home. That's how I justified doing it. That's awesome. That's exactly the kind of fishing that I want to do. You can keep your money. I just want your fish. Now get off my boat. I just want to be able to say that once. One of my favorite things in the world to say would be, get off my boat. That's just like one of the most hardcore things you can say, and you can't say no, because you're going to get off that boat one way or another, either of your own volition, or you will be removed from that boat. Very few people would argue with the direction of being told to get off that boat. It's the party boats that piss me off. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Yes, party boats. You nailed it on that. I'm sorry. I didn't think about it, but that is the distinction. Party boats piss me off too. Guides, they don't piss me off. Those guys are good. They work hard. They do a good job. They're professionals and know what they're doing, and they might be jerks from time to time. They might not be fun to deal with. They might not even be very good at what they do, and I don't have a problem with that in the world because I ain't going to be on that boat. The party boats suck. I don't like party boats. I don't like a boat that's got 300 rods over a good fishing spot and in the hands of people who have never touched a rod in their lives. They get on a snapper school and clean it out. They keep a bunch of shorts also, you're right, and then when they throw them back, they don't even pop the bladders, and you just have a wake of floating snapper on the surface that just get torn apart by whatever's sitting on the surface. Seagulls will be tearing those snappers apart. And yeah, you're right. They just destroy a fishing spot. Island Queen. I mean, I don't have anything against those guys as individuals, but I know when I see that boat that, it's going half-mast for whatever that fishing spot was, because that fishing spot ain't going to be existing anymore after that. It used to be like 6 months of classes. Man, I really want that six-pack. Will, I've always wanted that. I want my captain's license. Darren, hey, appreciate you stopping by, man. Always a pleasure. Really love what you do, man. I look forward to seeing you in the future. Sir, you have a great evening, man. Keep up what you're doing. You're pro, bro, and you need to keep it that way. Keep it going. Mr. Andrew Troyer, how are you doing there, sir? Good to see you, man. We are sitting here and just having ourselves a little bit of a chat about charter guide fishermen. Washington just recently passed, or they're talking about, they have a proposal for a rule that is going to require charter guides in Washington to record the fish that they catch. Doesn't sound like that big of a deal, or is it? Or am I making too big a deal out of it? I don't know. My beef is that the commercial fisheries and party boats was a thing that just got brought up, but those guys are a bigger impact on the environment than the charter guide guys, and I don't know how you would make a distinction between a charter guide and a party boat other than the amount of dinks you can fit on that boat. I don't know where you draw the, well, I guess because, yeah, one would have a six-pack, and I don't know what the next license up is. One would be, they have different tonnage requirements for your captain's licenses. So the six-pack is, they call it that because you're only allowed to have like 6 people on the boat. If you have the next license up, then you can do things, you get up to like party boats, and those guys have a much bigger impact on the environment, at least the local environments and fishing spots, than the other recreational anglers do. So yeah, maybe it's the party boats that just need to go away, period. Or again, my other conversation with that was, it is the commercial fisheries. If there is a problem with a species or an environmental impact on population, you probably need to look at the commercial fishermen first, unfortunately. And I think we need to have commercial fishermen. I support my local fishmongers. But if anybody's making an impact to the environment, it's going to be them or all the trash that comes floating down the Mississippi River. And I know you guys have your own issues that you're dealing with on that, but you know, pesticides and things like that are leaking into the Mississippi is probably having a much bigger impact on the environment and populations than any commercial fishing industry is. I don't know, what do you take on that? You gonna be mad at me for saying that? You might be, and you might not be wrong, but that's my thought on that. The dead zone outside of Louisiana is insane. It's the size of a continent. Wearing a thong makes you a pro now, and you were absolutely right about that. You were absolutely right about that. That is a funny conversation. The distinction between a fisherman on YouTube and a professional fisherman, I would never call myself a professional fisherman. I do not like that designation. It calls to mind old 1980s Channel 10 early Saturday morning or early Sunday morning fishing captains on like public access TV shows of fishing, which are just dated and kind of antique-y. I don't want to be that guy. I prefer to be a YouTuber who fishes. I might be wrong on that, but that is my thought on that. I'd rather be a content creator, and I'd rather be a, what do they call that? An influencer. I would rather be an influencer than a professional fisherman. This personal take on that, nothing against them. I'm not trying to make fun of professional fishermen. I don't want to do that. I don't want to just catch fish for a living. I don't want to have to wake up in the morning and make it a daily grind, make it part of the work that I have to do. I wake up and be like, okay, well, I got to go to work. I'm going to fish, and I must catch fish, and I must do well at catching fish. Otherwise, I'm not going to get paid, and I'm not going to be able to support my family. That just kind of takes the fun out of that to me. Just sign your fish over to me. My freezer full. I like to, I hand out fish when I'm at the jetty sometimes. I'll catch a few. If somebody's having a bad day, I'll give them my fish. So as much as I'd like to take fish from people, I actually hand out more, I think, than I take. Sounds good. Saltwater Hooked, love you, man. Love you. Love what you do. I should wear a bikini in one of my videos. Oh, are we still talking? We're talking about Jackie Shea. You know, I'm not going to get into it, but I got to say, I had a conversation with Jackie Shea the other day. We emailed each other, and bless her heart. I'm going to say, I'm not going to reveal our conversation, but all I'm going to say, Jackie Shea is a very nice person. I admire what she does. I think that she is still learning some things. I am not one to judge. So if for some reason this got around that I'm like talking trash about Jackie, I'm not trying to do that. She's a nice person. But there's just a couple of things that she does that I just scream into my head like, why are you doing that? You have a good channel. Why are you doing that to yourself? Best practices, you know, why are you doing, and I'm not talking about the girl stuff. I'm not talking about her wearing bikinis and stuff like that. Do you? You want to do that? Cool. Fishing with Louisa, whatever her name is, Darcizzle. Those girls do that. I don't got a problem with that. It's fine. That's fine. There's a market for that. Have at it. I don't care about that. But I see some of the YouTube stuff, and when I was talking with her, and I was just like, man, I respect you, and I respect what you've been able to accomplish on here. But why are you still making these rookie mistakes on a couple little things? And I got nothing, man. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. I get it. I'm not saying that like you should be doing what I'm saying you should do, and I'm not saying anything like that. But There's just some obvious ones on there. Anyway, I'll get off of that tangent. Sorry. Last year we had the most lake kills than any time in history. Many lake died off 80% of the fish because of the chemicals. Yeah, from plastics and weed killers. Yeah, from the fields around the lakes. Man, like I was saying, there is a zone outside of Louisiana. It's called the dead zone. And it's the result of all of the stuff coming out of the Mississippi River that is just decimating populations outside of Louisiana. And it's growing and it's getting bad. I would love to be forced to fish every day. I don't want to. I don't like that. I don't like the sounds of that. I enjoy fishing, and I don't want the captains of industry to ruin my enjoyment. It's not a hobby. It's a discipline. I don't do hobbies. I do disciplines. It is a discipline. I have worked and I have learned how to do it well. That doesn't mean that I want to have to be forced to do it in order. You know, like imagine, take all of those stressful things that happen to you at work, scheduling issues and finances, and mix that in with a discipline that you enjoy and have worked very hard to be a respected individual at. I do not want those sorts of things to ruin my enjoyment for something like that. Just a thought. I don't even have a full thought on that, but that's just my thought. I don't want those external influences to ruin something that I am very passionate about. You're a professional YouTuber, bro. Thank you. I don't know what to say about that. I have two different schools of thought on that. I have like the Mark Cuban thought where it's not professional until it's scalable and relatable and profitable and all those sort of things. And at the same time, I like Gary Vaynerchuk, who's like, you know, just the most encouraging of professionals ever. So I don't know which path to take. You know what? My path I'm going to take on that Saltwater Hooked is thank you. Just thank you. I don't know what to say about it. Just thank you. My neighborhood elderly love me and my fish. They get a lot of it too. I don't catch enough to be able to feed as many people as I would like to. I wanted to do a fish fry at our church, and I haven't been able to pull that off. In years I've been wanting to do it, and I haven't been able to pull that off just because we haven't caught that quantity of fish lately. It's upsetting. It bums me out because I really want to do that, but I respect that you do that, man, and I do say it is a goal of mine to make that happen. Just haven't been able to do that lately. It's been maybe just an off couple of years. I don't know. Doing it because of the sales, sadly. Well, no, yeah, I'm not even talking about that, Will. I was just talking more about just like best practices and stuff. And it's stuff that's hurting her sales that she's doing wrong, at least in my opinion. But, you know, she's doing just fine. She's doing her thing, and she's, you know, made a living out of it. Go you. No problems with that. I just, in my personal opinion, and from the things that I've seen, I think there's some things that you could be doing better. Just my opinion. I will say it again. All we go out on are party boats. All we go out. Everything is a party with you, Nick. We could be floating around on a 2x4 and it'd be a party 2x4. Mrs. Shannon Naylor, ma'am, how are you doing and how is your watch time? I'm kind of curious. My tablet is burning up. It's been burning up for days now, and I'm curious how you're doing on that. Try airsoft. That will teach you a discipline. I do the Milsom style. Yeah, I totally hear you on that one, Dennis. Hunting is another discipline of mine. I got a few that I'm not going to talk about because I have some plans for surprising people later in the life of this channel. I don't know when. I have some ideas on it. We actually have a little bit of a several-year plan on this channel, but we'll get to that in a little bit later. I would watch you fishing in a bikini, but I would enjoy it. Yeah, you would, John Isabella. I guarantee you would. I'd make it look good, I promise. I'd show Jackie Shea what's up in that bikini. Sitting at 1K hours. Thank you. Absolutely, man. Sitting at 1K? Really? That's it? Oh, man, I thought you were at like 3,800 or something like that. We'll get you there. You keep doing what you're doing, man. You'll get it there. I live and fish near Deer Meat, Jackie Shea. Oh, I know all those dudes. They all live like 1 block away from each other. I think they've got their own like street over in like, where is it? Jupiter? Yeah, I think they pretty much are Jupiter. It's a pretty good area to fish. I wish I started recording all my adventures back when some of them. Yeah. Wayne, I know, man, I hear you on that. And I tried a couple of times. I don't have any links or anything, but I had a couple other YouTube channels prior to this from like 10 years ago where I just did a couple of goofy little videos and then, you know, didn't manage to get anywhere with it and lost them. They're still on there. One of these days we'll make fun of them. We'll have a little like look back on the things that will never be or whatever. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, same boat. I look back on that and I'm like, man, there was such promise and potential, and if I knew then what I knew now, can you imagine where I would be? C'est la vie, c'est la vie. But hey, do it now. Do it right now. You're there. You got a channel and you're going. You keep running with it. Give yourself a 5-year plan, because 5 years from now, you do not want to be looking back on the videos that you are making right now and think, what if I had continued to do this? You know what I mean? You got it started now. It might not have been the time frame that you wanted it, but you got it now, and you don't want to be looking back and saying the same thing in a couple of years from now. I did a fish fry at my church. One of the members turned me in for having too many fish. Little did he know I had my clients sign their fish over. If they didn't want to keep them, then I'd donate. What's wrong with that? I don't see that. I can't believe somebody made an issue out of that. I cannot imagine. You're feeding people and they're sitting there complaining that you were overbagged. That ain't cool. Shannon, don't sweat it. That's, you know, look at it this way, Shannon, you're not the only one. A lot of people have been dealing with that. Like everybody, this is a strange thing to me, and maybe it's just because I'm new, but we've got this group of people this community, who we've all been working together, and everybody seems to be like, there's kind of waves of it, and there's a wave right now of people who are crossing over that 1,000 subscriber threshold. Like everybody's doing it. And now how everybody was like really pumping up and helping each other get into that 1,000 subscriber limit, now they're all doing the exact same thing with their watch time. You know what I mean? Grant just went through that, and some other people did the same. So you're going through the exact same thing all these other guys do. We're all going to help each other out. We're all going to get everybody there. Takes a little bit of time. Watch time obviously is a little bit more difficult metric than the subscriber count was, but just like we got the subscriber count, we're going to get everybody over the watch time as well. My suggestion on that, is videos. Get out as many videos as you can and get them ranked in search as best as possible. I'll be honest with you, I've just about got my watch time, and it wasn't the live streams that did it. It was the videos ranking in search. Man, that gave me a huge watch time boost. That's how I was able to accomplish it. I'm not trying to brag, not flexing or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I've lucked into it as a result of some good decisions I made on videos before I even knew how to live stream, before I was even doing it. But those videos right now are the ones that are getting me over the watch time thing. Come predator or hog hunting with me. Ooh, yes. I want to get in. I want to do that. It's been a while since I've got myself a hog. And I'm getting hungry. I'm in the mood for some hog. If you're talking to me, Will, and if you're not, you're essentially talking to me anyway, because I want in on that. I love hog hunting, man. It's good times. I always said I wasn't worried because of my watch time. It will happen when it happens. Yeah, and it will. It'll happen. You can go one of two directions on that, you know. Like I said, my suggestion on that is the videos. Videos who do well in search over a certain amount of time. We've built up the watch time that we needed as a result. You can also do Cole's direction, where you just, you know, more live streams, or as the live streams grow, you'll continue to get that watch time. It'll happen. My personal thought is that the live streams take longer to get that watch time. I could be wrong. I'm not always right. You know, maybe your personality could make all the difference in the world. You know, I could be totally wrong based simply on your personality. So you're waxing on about a bunch of dumb stuff. It doesn't matter. You will get there. Your community is going to support you. We're all going to. You've been an amazing part of it. We all appreciate it, and we're all going to help you get there. This is going to be a community project. I think that we're all going to be a lot better at helping each other at these metrics now that we're learning the system, learning what we need to do to accomplish it for each other. We did that with the subscribers, and now we're going to be doing it with the watch time as well. Oh man, if you want some hogger venison, I got a bunch still. I ain't going to eat it. No. Thank you. I appreciate that, but I want to get my own. That's half the fun. And you're taking the fun away from me, Will. I ain't having that. Shannon Naylor, I totally agree, ma'am. Totally agree. This is an awesome and an amazing community. Guys, on that note, we have been at it for 1.5 hours. This has been an amazing and a wonderful stream. I really want to thank you guys for coming and checking me out tonight and for suffering through. For those of you guys who have been here since the beginning, I want to thank you guys for suffering through our technical difficulties earlier. Thank you for still being here when I was finally able to get it up and running. I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight. I had an absolute blast. I was able to decompress from a very stressful day. Thank you for allowing me to do that. We got a lot of fun times coming up, so please stay tuned. We got some cool things planned on this channel. I'm afraid I had some cool stuff planned for tonight that I was not able to accomplish. I will be moving that on to the live stream that we do next week. So again, thank you very much for joining us. Had a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next live stream and in the next video. You guys all have a wonderful evening. Get out there and go have some fun this weekend, guys. Enjoy nature. It is finally spring. Night, guys.